This is Champ Week on ESPN. First round of the Conference USA tournament in Frisco, Texas. Marshall meets Rice. Let's take a look at the bracket presented by Air Force Reserve. 4 men's first round games underway tonight at the Star in Frisco, Texas. All of them available on ESPN Plus. The winner of our game gets UAB tomorrow. Chris Mycoskie and Kyle Youmans. Let's take a look at our players to watch. Max Fiedler, percentage-wise, is the best Rice shooter in their program history.
Over 70 or almost 70% shooting. He's definitely the best that they've had come through Houston, and he is somebody to look out for because not only can he score, he's also big on the rebounding side. And while he's the reliable one, let's go to the excitable one, Tavian Kinsey. First team All-Conference USA, just a sophomore, really came out last year as a freshman at this tournament here in Frisco. He's going to be someone to watch for, and he is someone that lights up the highlight reel. He also lights up the stat book at the same time.
These teams were scheduled to meet February 19th and 20th at Tudor Fieldhouse in Houston. Postponed and later canceled because of Rice COVID-19 issues. They meet here today in Frisco, and immediately to the rack, Michael Byers.
Michael Byers, how about that? Coming in at 6'9", just an easy Euro step right in the middle of the key, and then an easy lay-in. That was wide open. Marshall loves those type of looks.
Rice starting lineup featuring Quincy Oliveri, third team All C-USA choice. Travis Evie, the C-USA Newcomer of the Year. And for Marshall, they throw out the same starting 5 as they did last time out when they swept Charlotte in Huntington.
This is a Marshall team that caught fire as of late, won their last 3 ball games, defeated North Texas in the back end of their series, and then sweeping the 49ers.
Cameron Sheffield, the freshman, knocking it down. Yesterday just had 4 points. A quick 3, barely a minute into this ball game. Baseline triple, Michael Byers again.
Not taking very long for this court to heat up in terms of the shooting. How about the back-to-back threes? And at this very moment, only 1 miss between the two sides.
Andrew Taylor with the pick, up to Tavian Kinsey. Had 23 points in Marshall's most recent game. Off the mark, and Rice going back the other direction with Quincy Oliveri, the sophomore from Atlanta. Popping the triple, Cameron Sheffield from Chattahoochee High School, Alpharetta, Georgia.
These are two teams that love to speed things up. Marshall, the #1 offensive team in the conference for reasons much like that. If Andrew Taylor gets wide open looks, he's going to take advantage and drive to the hoop. And then Rice, on the other hand, they're efficient. One of the top efficiency shooting teams in the conference. So this could be one of the higher scoring matchups, maybe of the whole tournament.
Certainly feels like it will be at this point. Already 9-6 with 17.5 minutes to go. Sheffield nearly knocked down another one, but off the back of the rim. Andrew Taylor coming off a season high 21 points last Saturday against the Charlotte 49ers. Scott Pera, 4th year as head coach for the Rice Owls. He had increased heading into this year the Rice win total every season. Previously 3 years as the Owls associate head coach. Before that at Penn and Arizona State.
He's been around that program for quite some time. I said it to you prior to going on air. It feels like he's been there a lot longer than 4 years.
Fiedler, left hand off the glass after creating some room.
The reason why it feels so long, though, is because he's established a winning culture. He has changed the outlook of what you see when you look at the Rice Owls basketball program, and that's a credit to him and his staff over the last 4 seasons.
Tavian Kinsey lost his footing. Dan D'Antoni, 7th season as Marshall's head man, led the Thundering Herd to the 1967 and 1968 NIT as a player. He is in their Athletics Hall of Fame.
He is also a coach that I have fond memories of. It takes me back to the first time this tournament was held at the Star in Frisco in 2018, led an underdog herd team to a conference title and won that title game against, I believe it was Western Kentucky that year, but ultimately a fun look. He's always very animated on the sideline and somebody that I know has really changed the Marshall program for the better.
Well, nobody takes more pride in the school that they coach than Dan D'Antoni. He loves Huntington, that community, and this basketball program.
Just look at his shirt. I want him to turn around again. There you go. Now that's that. If you don't have pride, you're not wearing that shirt. And he has the pride, certainly. That's another thing. He has such a unique style off of the bench. The shirt with the blazer, and he's ditched the blazer apparently for the first round.
Well, all coaches, except for a few exceptions, are more casual this year on the bench.
Yeah.
But D'Antoni was doing that before it became the norm in college basketball.
He's a trendsetter.
Travis Evie forces it inside. Marshall. First turnover of the day committed by Rice. And bodies flying. Marshall retains possession. Andrew Taylor, the sheriff, feeds it off to Michael Byers, who drives too hard, and it'll stay. Rather, on second thought, it will go the other way. The call made by Darren George. Kevin Mathis and Kirby Sutton, our other men in stripes today. Marshall leads by 2 over Rice. The 2021 Air Force Reserve C-USA Basketball Championships are brought to you by Air Force Reserve.
I have a voice.
You have a voice.
We have a voice.
Our voices can be heard
Outside of sports.
As student athletes,
we have a platform.
now more than ever,
It's important that we listen, learn, and lead.
and raise our voices for change
We can all do more.
Now is the time
to make a difference.
This is our chance.
This is our chance to make a better tomorrow.
Together,
we will continue the conversation.
we have a voice.
Burger.
Butter.
Beautiful.
Bacon.
Barbecue.
Delightful.
Deliciousness.
That's not a word.
Sonic Mesquite Butter Bacon Cheeseburger.
Bacon.
Bacon's already been said.
Oh.
We make it easy for you. Tax time is here again. Block has options for you, my friend. We can do your taxes virtually. Snap the pick and leave the rest to me. We make it easy. Experts on your phone. You don't have to leave home. We'll get it done right. You can sleep well tonight. In person or virtually. We make it easy for you. Block has your back.
Coming to you fresh-faced from home.
With new Lash Blast Clean Mascara. 10 times the volume, clean formula that's cruelty-free and vegan. Works for me, works for us, works for the planet. New Lash Blast, the clean mascara.
First half of the Conference USA Basketball Championship in Frisco, Texas. Marshall leads Rice 10-8, and the Thundering Herd hold that lead despite missing their last 4 attempts. A frantic pace to start this first round matchup.
It really is. It's been blistering between these two squads. Marshall, like I mentioned earlier, the #1 offensive team in Conference USA. They get up, they run, they play with an extra intensity, and that's a reflection of what Coach D'Antoni has brought to this Thundering Herd squad. As for Rice, this is a team that likes to shoot the rock, and we saw it last night against Southern Miss. They're streaky in their own right. If they can put together a long run and continue to hit their shots efficiently and consistently, then all of a sudden the Owls are probably a more dangerous team than even led on as the 6th seed.
Winner advances to play the 2nd seed out of the West, the UAB Blazers. Rice had beat Southern Miss last night to get to this point. Marshall had a bye in the preliminary round. Last night it was the 6 versus the 7 out of each division, as CUSA opted to expand its tournament to include all 14 teams. Ultimately, only 13 men's teams arrived here in Frisco, as Florida International canceled its opener due to COVID issues. 12-10 Marshall.
was the first bucket for Marshall in just about 5 minutes. It had been quite some time before they had finally made one. They were 0 of their last 4 before Jared West connected.
Quick work around the three-point line, and ultimately it is Travis Evie shooting off the mark. Tavion Kinsey, free throw line extended right, but Marshall gets it right back. Michael Myers off the front of the rim. Rolls in and out for Oliveri. Third team All C-USA selection. West feeds it. Kinsey. Back iron. Neither team able to connect. Big block by Tavion Kinsey.
Oh, he is a walking highlight reel. Elevated above. He could have kissed the rim if he was a couple feet to his right. An emphatic block, and well, that's not the only one I'm sure we'll see tonight.
Jared West knocks down the triple.
Now each team with a pair from beyond the arc.
We saw that wingspan on display for Tavion Kinsey the last trip down. Also his vertical leap, 43 inches. That was the measurement at last summer's NBA Combine. 1 inch off the top vertical ever recorded at that event.
I believe it. That's easy for Kinsey.
He did come back for another year at Marshall. Down low, he walked. Turning defense into offense, it starts with a Kinsey swat.
Goodness, he's elevation, the way that he attacks the bucket. You see West spotting up from the outside. He's going to have to be somebody to get involved in the scoring for Marshall. I know it's early on. I love the way that the Thundering Herd play the game of basketball. They close out on their assignments. They don't allow an open shot, even if it looks like it's going to be open before. They make things tough on an opponent. And Rice, talking about Marshall not letting up an inch, Rice continues to fight as well. This is going to be a battle till the end.
Another walk, this time on the right side of things. And while we're gushing over Kinsey's shot blocking ability, it's his teammate, Jansen Williams, who actually is the top shot blocker on this team. And he's the 4th best in Conference USA, 2.1 per game.
And for good reason. Teams should be afraid if they're driving to the low block. Because not only do you have to deal with Kinsey and his elevation, but you have to deal with Williams. There you see Williams ranking 1st in blocks. And then Jared West. Hey, if you're not getting blocked, you're getting pickpocketed by Jared West. He's been a steals machine since he arrived to Huntington.
Speaking of Williams off the mark there, his 196 career blocks, that's now better than Hassan Whiteside, who had 182. Broke that record back on February 12th against Middle Tennessee.
Whiteside's had himself a pretty good little NBA career, I would say.
That's one of the more memorable names in recent history for the Marshall Thundering Herd. Tie ball, and it'll go to Rice. Scott Para, well, they'll call the foul now. Okay, the original call was a jump and now goes to a foul on the Owls, and that's why Scott Para was jumping out of his seat, had to go for a little stroll behind the bench to get out the frustration.
The official on the baseline initially said jump ball, and that was the more emphatic one. We saw it on camera. You saw it at the bottom side of the basket. There he is there. Had the call for a jump ball, but he was overruled by the official that was over on the perimeter. He elected to say the foul, had a better look at where the hand was placed, and so Kinsey gets free throws.
And Coach Para went crazy about it on the other side. He's still talking. And you can see, even with a mask, you can see that angry look on his face right now. His team down by 4. Take the mask off for a second to shout instructions to his ball club. Coming up on the 12-minute mark. Evie against David Early. Eight seconds on the shot clock. on the wing, some contact, and that'll lead us to another break here in Frisco, Texas. At the Conference USA Championship, Herd over the Owls, 16-12. 12 minutes left in the first.